The more fortunate you are with Baba, the more you have to suffer. And so, this new life Baba gave, at least I'm speaking for myself so much. Apart from the physical labor, which I discounted, I didn't much bother about, the mental torture that I had at that time was enormous. You would not believe, sometimes I wanted to just try and go away and leave everything. Meher Baba, God don't want anybody at all. And eventually I saw that was the training, that the training was next to the discipline that I had from Meher Baba at the time of Manzil-e-Mim in 1922. The new life was there in 1949, and the first disciplinary life I underwent was in 1922. So, people get frightened of the mental torture. And what is the torture? It was a very simple thing. You see, beloved Baba, the treatment that he used to give me before differed so much from the treatment that he gave in the new life. Supposing he used to embrace me in the old life and started giving me kicks in the new life, how would you feel? Yeah, I'm a human being after all. Well, I know that his kick and a kiss both are blessings. But you don't expect me to laugh when I get the kick, my dear. The reaction has to be there. Although I may analyze the intention and I may definitely know that this is also a grace of Baba. But it all remains for me to find out how much I can sustain it, how much I can bear it. So the whole new life, you see, as such, as long as I was there. And then, of course, he released me after 4 months. I came back to my office. And then looking back over the things again, I find that it has been most helpful. See, reading spiritual literature given by Baba is a pleasure and a joy. But putting the same thing into practice is a suffering. So probably all the reading that Baba makes us do in the beginning to prepare us with all joy to bear up with the suffering that is going to come on later. Dr. Ghani, a very wise man amongst the Mandali, an old friend of Baba and also a disciple, he was a school friend of Baba. He and I both were walking during our new lifetime. And Dr. Ghani says, he was an older man than me, much older. And he said, look here, Adi, what is this? I do not know, this devilish treatment we are getting at the end of this avatar. And how much, and all the time we read the discourses and we got the pleasure out of it. And now when the time comes, you see, we are cracking under the weight of this suffering. See, we used to just exchange our notes with each other. And both of us used to agree on this. So it is like this.
Well, I thought you wanted
one Indian poet says, how beautifully well in 2 lines he says. He says, आसानियों में रहकर मुश्किल को ढूंढते हैं. You want to surround yourself or get surrounded by a very easy life.
Yeah.
And you want the most difficult thing in the life. How can these 2 things come together?
I was identifying very much with what Tim was saying.
Please write down your name and full address, because I would like to recollect all the talk that we had. If you don't mind, full name and address, and I will then later. Yeah.
Speak up.
When the person who was writing down his name and address was talking, I know his name. I was identifying very much and was responding very much emotionally, because I was frustrated that you seem to insist that a mental standpoint or an image of Baba in physical form was very much of a main objective in loving God, in the process of loving God. And Tim was seeming to express this thing in his heart which overcame him. And I kept on remembering what I was reading yesterday in Baba's discourses about God realization. And if I can just read it here, about how consciousness doesn't... Well, let me read it. I don't have the words and stuff. To arrive at true self-knowledge is to arrive at God realization. God realization is a unique state of consciousness. It is different from all other states of consciousness because all other states of consciousness are experienced through the medium of the individual mind, whereas the state of God consciousness is in no way dependent upon the individual mind or any other medium. A medium is necessary for knowing something other than one's own self. For knowing one's own self, no medium is necessary. In fact, the association of consciousness with the mind is definitely a hindrance rather than a help for the attainment of realization. Baba says that he's true self in everyone, or the real self in everybody. And so many times I feel overpowered with just a feeling of Baba, not so much a mental image conjured up. And I was distressed when you were insisting on the mental image.
I think to have a mental image of Baba is what you need. Let your heart go, right? But you can't tell me that your mind is completely ceased. That's why you need a mental image.
Yeah, I think that's
occupy your
right.
mind with the mental image of Baba. Keep your heart, don't have to say the words, but you...
No, but when did I actually say that the forming of the image is better than the feeling through the heart or love through the heart?
You didn't, but you said that two things are important. Your heart feelings and the use of the imagination can be very helpful to you.
Yes.
You did not say anything.
No, but I did
about
not say
mind.
that one supersedes the other or vice versa.
You
Now,
keep it.
now, the use of imagination
occupied.
means writing poetry to God. The use of the imagination means painting pictures of
Right.
God. Otherwise, we're stuck, we'll have to go into nunneries. And Baba didn't want us
That's
to do
exactly what
that.
I'm saying.
We're to activate the spirit, so you
That's what I'm
use the
saying.
imagination.
Right, but you keep that imagination on Baba.
On Baba.
Image.
On Baba.
Image. That's what I'm saying.
He said if you can make your whole soul resound with my name, then he will be able to respond. But if your mind is never still. It's always moving. And what Baba says is try to make it move around me, and he will take care of it. Don't worry about it, but just think of me. So your mind is always revolving.
Yes.
He gets rid of all the others.
And your whole being focuses on Baba. It's not just a mind thing. It's every aspect that is
Yes,
filled with Baba.
yes. But in some persons, the mind is very prominent thing more than his heart, and in others, the heart is prominent than the mind. You see. And I don't remember having said that it is absolutely necessary to form the image and be inattentive to the love in your heart or your feelings in your heart. I did not say that it is, but the mind needs something definitely. The other day I even said that the mind of a man is like a barking dog sometimes. So you have to give a few crumbs and silence him with crumbs. So the arguments may not be useful, but it is useful in the sense negatively that the mind at least gets satisfied and keeps quiet and does not disturb the heart in its pursuit for God or for Meher Baba.
And the final point about this is that when the mind is occupied with Meher Baba, it's occupied with the incarnate universal ego of the current avatar, and that's the most powerful function of the mind in this age.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay.
Also, doesn't Baba really make, through the mind, isn't Baba making his appeal to the heart? Isn't Baba appealing to the heart through the mind?
It can
He's
be
really
so.
trying to open the heart center, right?
It is not the same in everybody. So to some he may directly appeal to the heart, to some he may appear through the mind, to some he may appear to the medium, to some he may appear to some even external things we do not know. A man comes to a beautiful scenery, is inspired about Meher Baba. So that becomes the cause. In the case of one saint, Ramana Maharishi, he was inspired by that hill. The hill just standing before his ashram has taken such a assumed such great importance because this man says that he got God realization on the hill. I do not know. And that is his experience. So that may be the cause through which the master, the perfect master, has inspired him. So the perfect master, for the matter of that avatar, you see, can take any means and medium on a hand and utilize it for a purpose. Nothing can come in the way. It may be the lowest of the low thing, the highest of the high thing. I have heard Baba once said that a man got realized in his dream when he was sleeping. Yes, there are cases like this. So where is the dream and where is God realization?
Baba emphasized...
What is it?
He said that's really to wake up in a dream.
Huh?
That's really awakening from a dream.
Yes.
full of sense.
No, but somebody will interpret like this, that certain perfect master got realization in a dream. You go on sleeping all your life so that you will get a better chance of God realization. See, such foolish inferences. You see, once what happened, actually, I told you the other day also, I may repeat it, I like to repeat it here. You see, a man, I do not want to name it, a man, you see, he heard once Baba gave an explanation about yoga. There is certain type of yoga which is very effective in the sense that man should do everything by the contrary. If he feels hungry, he should starve. If he feels like going to the toilet, he keep on sitting in a chair. You see, do everything against your wish and will, against your inclination. So Baba had declared that I am in a very deep seclusion, nobody should write me a letter. So he tries to follow a certain example. He stopped writing. So such inferences, if a man goes on drawing, then I think it won't take anywhere the questioner or the answerer. It will a confusion, really.
Excuse me. The idea of doing opposite to your false self's desires, it didn't seem to me to be what Baba writes about, because he says to get your heart to begin to lead your actions. And if something stays with you as very important, you constantly feel this thing must be done, you act on it, so that you begin to get the heart leading.
That's what I was impressing upon him, you see. Sometime when a question of some type of yoga arose, and Baba had explained that there is a type of yoga which people practice. That doesn't mean that is his own instructions or his orders or his own explanations.
Just because Baba mentions it.
Mentioned that, so he taken it up because probably he found it more suitable for him at that time.
I think Baba emphasized subservient ego. When you notice I'm sitting here, I say I'm sitting here. Instead, you say Baba is sitting here. Or if I'm eating, you say Baba is eating. He seemed to emphasize that. And I think it has a lot to do with the trouble of the mind, you know. If you settle your mind.
No, I don't think Baba literally says every time you sit, you feel that Baba is sitting. These things should come spontaneously and naturally. You can't go on, you see. Baba also said, do not coerce your mind. No. You cannot coerce your mind. You cannot press your mind down. Maybe it may jump up and do something very worse, you see, diametrically opposite. So you should not coerce the mind. You should try to deal very delicately with the mind and take the mind in its mood. In the discourses of meditation, Baba has said that coercion is not permitted. Even for the matter of meditation, who likes to do meditation and take up meditation, coercion should not be done.
Oh, no coercion. So you're thinking about Baba, the statement about shouldn't even coerce your mind into thinking about Baba. It's a strain.
If you can pleasantly do it, then it remains. It doesn't amount to a coercion. If you get a joy in doing it, by all means do it.
Where does the idea of discipline come in? Is that not necessary?
What?
Where does the idea of discipline come in?
Discipline.
Joyful discipline balanced with love. A joyful discipline. Not a coerced or forced. A forced discipline is like the man in the army who has to parade at the force of the authority.
It's more important than anything.
Joyful discipline?
Yeah. You see, while getting to the discipline, one has to bear up with so many things. But it is all the intention with him. Now, discipline with Baba was not always joyful in the literal sense. But we were doing it for Baba. The purpose was joyful, the purpose was high. It was not a coercion. It was not a coercion.
Yeah, he knows.
You wanted it. Coercion is a thing, even you do not want it, you have to do it.
I knew we didn't have to
I do not want to go to Vietnam War, and then you got to do it. You see, that is coercion.
And I think you're talking about the mind in terms of discipline. This also takes into account the word and the deed. In other words, these thoughts will come into your mind, and spontaneous, thoughts of Baba is not coercion. But there is a discipline of keeping desires and wants in the mind, and so the discipline is let the mind do what it will, but don't put it into word or in action. And that's a discipline that Baba.
Yes, that is quite true. And let the thoughts automatically come and go. you do not harbor those thoughts. You do not go on deliberately repeating those thoughts within yourself and never put those thoughts into action.
There's a cute quote I remember which said, "Let my name be a net to surround you so that thoughts like mosquitoes can buzz around you, but they can't bite you."
But you're right. It's very nice.
I think a mistake because I didn't. When I meant Baba was sitting here, I meant it's a joyful thing to be doing.
Yes, yes.
I didn't mean it was just a.
So that is all. Anything done joyfully, yes, it's all permitted.
Because you, as Baba once said, if you really understand what he is, you won't do certain things which you would naturally do.
That's right.
Adi, I used to go through. I used to have a lot of trouble because I read in the God Man when I first came to Baba that at the Manzil he made you all take cold water baths. He made you take cold water baths.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I started trying to take cold showers. Terrible. I couldn't
And you, why don't you start taking cold showers in the midwinter? That will be most helpful to you.
That's what I tried to do, but it was too cold.
But if you want to become disembodied, earlier than what is designed by God for you, then you won't get it. But my dear man, he was taking cold bath in a place like Bombay, which is so humid, which is so warm. You forgot to ask about the surroundings. You only caught up with the cold bath. You see, that is how a man in search of a forest, for the sake of a true tree, he loses the whole forest.
Adi, a question. I just make a statement. You comment, okay? I will make a statement and maybe you will comment on it.
Yes.
That the only difference for us between before Baba dropped his body and now is that before Baba dropped his body, he was in seclusion, and now he is not. He's more accessible to us.
That's very good. That's the way so many feel about it. And probably because he was to drop his body, give up his body suddenly, without pre-intimating about it to anyone, this may be one of the reasons of his seclusion, to give you a training to just not feel very much after he drops his body, because in seclusion also we could not easily see Baba. It was very difficult to see. So probably that was the training he gave you, to remain aloof.
But isn't it so that we can do the same kind of inward communication with Baba now that we could?
Definitely. So on the other hand, I say he has given you an occasion to find Baba in your heart more when he's not in the body than when he was in the body.
Could you speak to us about what it was like to be with Baba during the last years when he was completing his work?
For me, the last 5 or 7 years, it was not a regular trial, as I would say, like the new life, but it was somewhat a trial for me, because Baba used to be in seclusion. I could not go as often as I could, although I was allowed to go to him at any time for any work pertaining to Baba or Mehrazad. But every time that I went, I did not disturb him unless he on his own called me inside and asked me to see him. So, and then many difficulties were there in Baba's work. All Mandali was staying together, different views, different thoughts, correspondence, Baba work and all that. And naturally Baba is always the deciding factor, you see. And everything was so much eased out. But with the small opportunities of seeing him, his seclusion made a little difficult for me. By the very existence of the distance, I had to go every time 9 miles. And life in India is not easy. It's an expensive life in the sense The gasoline is so expensive. To keep a car is so expensive. Repairs are so expensive. We can't afford to go on a cycle all those 9 miles and come back and waste half of a day or the full day for the matter of one errand or one work, you see. So difficulties on all sides. It's not only the difficulty of seeing or not seeing Baba. There were many. And so many things that had to be managed in the office, besides the correspondence, all the things that Mehrazad needed, all their requirements, the knickknacks of every Monday, the convenience of them. And there was the post office, the bank. All this put together, I was very joyful the way I should be kept occupied, but not without the difficulties, you see. And Baba is there in everything. Once a fellow came to my office, he says, you always seem to be doing this work. And do you at any time remember Baba? I said, I hardly remember Baba, the way you want me to remember. So he said, how is it? I said, you have a wife or a mother? He says, yes, I have. So you love her? Yes, love very much. I love my mother very much. Do you have necessary to remember her every moment that you do anything else? No, I do not do it. Do you feel that your love is lessened by not remembering her the way you want? No, not at all. That is in work I feel Baba. Every work that I do, every movement that I make, it's Baba, nothing else but Baba. Where is any other interest in life? None at all. From morning till evening. No recreation, no picnic, no outing. If ever there is an outing, it is to the printing press. If there is an outing somewhere at a distance, it is for Baba's work. Every moment is for Baba's work, and there is a joy in it. But being so much attached to him personally, to keep aloof from him is not very easy. I think, you see, when I joined Baba in 1922 and later on I was with him so much, it took him almost 6 years to keep me aloof. A little time here, a little time there, it went on and on. And every time I was wanting to go and stay near him, every time I was wanting to go, and every time he was contriving in such a manner that I live away from him. But it was a suffering indeed, when you are so much attached personally to him. But when I look back and I see that it was really, again I say, a blessing in disguise. Because if he had not done that, probably I would not have been in a position to work after Baba gave up his body. Very, very difficult for me to work. Who knows? A man, you see, in a fit of sorrow, may do anything at all. Because we never cease to be human beings. And Baba always wants us to remain human beings. As I say, because Baba takes us. If there is a spirituality and Baba is the avatar, and if he has in mind to give us God realization, and then if he is said to advance us spiritually, then it only means that he does it behind the curtain. He does not make a curtain of anything at all. That is his way of doing it. And he has maintained it right from the beginning till the very end. And he dropped his body also behind the curtain. He never informed anybody about it. And we least anticipated that he would give up his body so soon as that. Because always he gave an impression that he was going to live for 90 years.
He always had you working towards the next day, didn't you? You were always making plans for the next day.
Yes.
Could you tell us about where you were and what happened to you on the day he dropped his body?
I was there right near him, but I went just a minute later. Probably he wanted me that way to go. Dr. Ginde, a neurosurgeon, a well-known neurosurgeon, and Baba's a great Baba lover. He had come to America also once or twice, you see. There are so many other Baba lovers who know him. Dr. Kenmore know him. He had been to different centers also and gave a few talks about Baba. So this man was off and on called to see Baba. But latterly, Baba never allowed him to go to him at all. And every time he kept on asking me and sending me a phone, distant call, 200 miles away from Bombay to Ahmednagar. And he says, I would like to come and see Baba. But I don't want to come and see Baba to give me any sort of a treatment as a doctor. Because Baba's health is beyond me. I really do not know what actually Baba suffers from. And I do not think, having tried so many times, that I can be of any help to him medically. But the only thing you call me for is to take his darshana, to bow down before him. So at that time, a few days before he dropped his body, Baba did not allow him to come at all. I sent him a phone, do not come, but you come when you are asked to come. This is Baba's message. Oh, then he used to say, I long to come so much and all that, you see. He's such a busy man with all his operations, you see, brain operations. He's an expert. The moment a message goes to him, he immediately gives up all his work. You see, Baba always tell him that you adjust your work and come over. Now, a few days in advance, he was asked to adjust his work and come over. So, Baba's order was that he had to adjust his other operations, which he had given an appointment for. So, in trying to adjust that, of course, 2 or 3 days passed. And then Baba again made me send a phone. What is it? We are expecting. Why don't you come? But he says, look here, Adi, Baba has asked me to adjust the other things. Otherwise, Baba does not like me to just to suddenly snatch myself away from my work in Bombay and go over to Ahmednagar. So, now naturally Baba definitely know that the next day or the third day that he was going to drop his body. Then he suddenly sent for me and you sent a phone, ask him to come immediately. Then there was some delay. There was a message he was expected to give at Pune to somebody, to see somebody and give a message. That really was not important. But because he was asked to do, he was delayed at Pune, he came late. And then another message came from Meherazad, where is Dr. Ginde, why doesn't he come? Dr. Gavar asked me to bring a barrel of oxygen with me and another doctor. So there is an Evangeline Booth hospital. The doctor there name is Mr. Brisman. He's an Australian. He's a very nice man. He had Baba's darshan a few times. He had been to Meherazad a few times. He's a very nice and a very helpful man to us all Baba Mandali. So I immediately sent for him. He brought the oxygen with him in his car, and he was right in the near my house, present. And then when Ginde arrived at my house, and Dr. Ginde, you see, somehow the moment he arrived, he started getting some heart palpitation. He went to the toilet, he passed one motion, and he actually got a mild heart attack there. This is Dr. Ginde. He did not tell me anything about it. He came out with a very haggard face. I said, Doctor, what is wrong with you? Nothing is wrong, you do not bother, let us go to Baba. I said, wait for a while, take a cup of tea or milk. No, I can't wait here for a single second, you must fly over to Baba. And at that time, you see, Baba's condition was worsening, you see. Gaver was there, Erech was there. Baba's condition went on worsening so much that Erech started giving artificial respiration through his mouth. But how much artificial respiration could you ever give? And Dr. Gaver was waiting for that oxygen cylinder that I was to carry. And then we immediately ran, Dr. Ginde, myself and Dr. Brisman, all three of us in 3 individual cars. We speeded up there. And just before we arrived, Baba had already passed away. And there was an uproar, weeping and wailing. And Mehra sitting there right in front, you see. She was so stunned. Everybody was weeping, but not a drop of tear I could see in the eyes of Mehra. She was absolutely stunned like this, looking at Baba. So I could not, you see, control myself. I went out, of course, shed all the tears there, came back inside. And then I started shouting aloud. I said, you must not weep, you must not make noise. Gaver started weeping, Naja started loudly weeping and all that. And said, Baba gone, Baba gone. And then we asked Dr. Ginde, we asked Dr. Brisman, we started pushing him like this, say doctor, can't you do anything, can't you do anything? What can you do? Doctor says, Dr. Ginde says, what can I do beyond the will of Baba? Can't do it. And there was such a wailing and weeping for a time. We were all out of our minds and out of our wits, you see. We do not know. The whole life story with Baba, you see, came before our mind's eye like this. Like a whole film. Then we see, we all collected ourselves, and then Francis Brabazon was there, Erech was there, I was there, Nariman was there, Gaver was there, Mani was there, all sit together, drafted the telegram to be sent over to all places.
Oh, Adi, This telegram, tell us about sitting down to make this telegram, because this has become the telegram. MeherBaba has dropped his body to live in the hearts of his lovers, eternally in the hearts of his lovers. It has become our banner. So tell us about sitting down to make the telegram.
You see, we all sit down together, we sat down together to draft a telegram. Now, what should be the contents of the telegram so that it may be most suitable to the occasion? Now, one thought this way, another thought this way, all this all put together. Then we ask Francis Brabazon to draft it, you see. So that everybody goes through, gives his suggestions, certain changes are made, and then eventually the final is decided. So this was the shape and form that eventually all minds, the heads coming together, we decided upon this text of a telegram to be sent.
Had Baba ever said anything? Yes, he had said things like that before. Baba had this was Baba's.
For everything, Baba need not say anything. Your life with Baba says so many things, you see. So many things are obvious and evident, you see. We know. And Irach asked me to immediately go to the office. All said, you should not stick here now. You go to the office, start sending telegrams. There are press people, there are Baba lovers all over the world. And I really could not accompany Baba's body from Meherazad to Meherabad. The moment I went to my office, you see, I just felt all darkness in my office. For the moment, you see. I could not work, I could not think. I was also so stunned as if. But we had to work, you see. So I remember the 7 years past, if Baba had still drawn me closer, I would have become a useless and a helpless man to do any work, even to send a cable, I tell you honestly. I may have given up everything, gone away. Who knows? The trend of the mind. With, as I say, with all the philosophy, all the discourses, but when one has to put into action, it takes a different shape. The joy goes, the suffering comes. And both are necessary. So, I went and stuck to my chair for full 2 days. 48 hours I could not. I used to take my food there, my drink, everything, only for the toilet I went. And telegrams and phone calls from all over the world, from Canada, from United States, from Ceylon, from Delhi, from Nagpur, from Kanpur, from Pakistan, from Iran. How to reply? You see, at night, I would just rest my head for 5 minutes like this, again a phone call. 10 minutes again a phone call. How to reply, how many to reply, I do not know. And Baba really gave the strength to do all that, you see. And the others were also so busy. You see, we sent an ambulance and Baba's body was there. Dr. Briesman sent his own ambulance and the beautiful stretcher also. He permitted the stretcher to be kept at Meherabad. It is kept there on the hill. You may have seen it in that small cabin. It belonged to the hospital and he did not charge anything also. We were prepared to pay him. And this Dr. Briesman also, you see, he may not believe Baba is the avatar at all. But in his own way, he liked and loved Baba so much, and he also felt very sorry. And he showed it actually when he was there near Baba's body. And then Baba's body was lifted up and brought down on the floor in a nice covering and placed over there for some time. And then it was removed to Meherabad. And it was very late in the evening I could go there to Meherabad. And we had to work ourselves, place ourselves with a different background, in a different surrounding altogether, you see. Now the Baba is physically not there. And all our life, imagine, 45 years of life suddenly changed. So we had to adjust and reconcile ourselves. And most of all, Mera, money, see, being so near Baba all the time, money every moment near, Dr. Gaver so near for Baba's health, always near. You see, the very mention of Baba's name now in front of Mera, she weeps. In front of Gaver, she weeps. In front of money, at least money is very balanced, you see. She may not show her tears, but within she may feel more. So, it has been a great event. Even I feel that this event has been greater in our life than the event when we joined Baba. And all the other, so many events in between. So, as Baba said that when God got the urge and he got the whim and asked himself a question and he finally answered. The question was, who am I? And the answer was, I am God. You see. So in the case of Baba, when we joined him, he says he was God. But when he passed away also, he said he was God. The question and answer both are the same in this case. And all the Meherabad women and men and went and stayed there at the top of the hill for 2-3 days at a stretch. No bath, no food, very scanty food. One tried to look after another. Some outside Baba lovers came, they tried to look after the Mandali. And Kaka Bharia was the man, he sat there for 2 days near the tomb, in front of the tomb. He would not move from there. One Indian poet says that extreme grief becomes the remedy of grief. It becomes his own remedy. Extreme. Anything is extreme is all one. Extreme light and extreme darkness both are one. When there is extreme light, you get dazed, you can't see anything. When there is darkness, you can't see anything.
What was the reaction of Muhammad when Baba was spotted?
Action of Muhammad was not normal in the sense that your and my and Baba Mandali's reaction was there. Cannot be like that. He was just as the same, only saying that Baba has gone, Baba will come, Baba has gone. Laughing, weeping, whatever he was no change.
You would not say that he was breathed in the same way?
No. He was not agreeing with this.
There's a painting of the death of Buddha in which you have a row of the mandali. The first row is
these apostles, yes.
They are close and they're all weeping around the body of Buddha. And then behind you have the saints, and the saints are all smiling.
Saints?
Bodhisattvas.
Bodhisattvas.
Men who are approaching Buddha status.
What is a bodhisattva? Do you know?
Huh?
What is a bodhisattva in the spiritual hierarchy?
Buddha?
No, bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva is the Bodhisattva is the truth. Sattva means truth.
Like a perfect master?
No cigarette. Yes, thank you.
He doesn't want to. Didn't like cool. That's what he'd like.
Thank you.
Would you like more tea, Adi?
No, thanks. No.
Last night I had a dream which is insignificant. In the dream, people were asking at the counter for cigarettes, and I just get
Give the mother and child his shit. Oh,
Adi, wait, this is the question. Is it so that Muhammad's tomb could not be visited during the 7 days Baba was there?
That is absolutely true. Because it had come out in the papers and we verified it.
Good.
From so many persons. It is absolute. For all throughout the period of the life of that tomb over there, on no occasion it was cut off by water. For full 7 days that Baba's face was kept exposed there at Meherabad.
Muhammad's tomb.
Muhammad's tomb. Muhammad Pagambar. And it is such a heavy rainfall and the tomb was all surrounded by water that for 7 days, you see, the devotees could not go near the tomb. It's a fact. It's a fact. Absolute truth.
Has that ever happened before? No. Never happened before.
No. Never happened.
How about you?
It cannot be same. It cannot be the same everywhere, my dear. God's ways are unfathomable. If a man does not receive the truth through the intellect, then Baba makes the tree speak. He comes and appears on the tree and says, yeah. He proves it. The tree accepts me, but you as a human being with so-called bright and brilliant intellect, you do not accept. When there was an eclipse of the sun and the moon says, here you sun, such a beautiful shining sun, and I am a reflected glory, my glory is reflected. I am your reflection. You do not recognize me throughout a period of many years. Now this is my turn. I come in between you and the earth and assert my existence. And he salutes him and says, here I am, you will have to pay that little tiny bit of a respect for me now. At least recognize my existence, that I am, being so small, has cut off your light to go to the earth. Plunge the earth in the darkness, maybe 2 minutes. Here I am.
How did you feel about the tree? How did you feel?
Oh, it was so much enchanting to me because the MeherBabaLibrarians saw that in the month of June. Probably we did not know. I did not know. One day I happened to go to Mehrazad and Mani and others tell me, have you seen this? I said, no, please show it to me. Mehra was the first one to see it. It is at the back of Mehra's room. She saw it from the window. And then I went to her room and I saw what a beautiful thing. You must not keep this secret. Let everybody know in the world. Then they started taking pictures. And
Is that a special kind of tree?
Yes, it's a very sacred tree in the Hindu mythology. I was more concerned with Baba's image in the tree than the tree itself.
And did it look like Baba to you immediately?
Immediately, in a flash.
You didn't have to look for it. It was just...
No, it was just that the moment they took me, I said, this will be made known to all.
Is it still there?
Still there, yes. But now one streak has come in, you see, like this. It may not remain there. In a natural way, it may disappear even. But it has there. It has asserted itself. It has affirmed its existence. You see, during the lifetime of Baba, our concentration was on his body. So, Baba's humanity and Baba's divinity. His humanity was his body, his divinity was with him. So since we focused on his humanity, the divinity was included, but in the latent form. It was there within. So when Baba dropped his body, we have to see to his divinity now. That is all over. Manifested. Probably his divinity was unmanifest during his lifetime, according to me. Not that it was not there all the time. It is there. It undergoes no change excepting that the body is discarded, given up. But for our consciousness, for our feeling, this is the greater time for us to know about his divinity all over. But all over we can't see because we have no eyes to see. We don't have the inner sight to see. So Baba says, I will manifest you in your heart. Look into your heart. So one Indian poet says, the image of my beloved is embedded in my heart. The moment I want to look at him, I just tilt my head like this and it is there. He says, दिल के आईने में है तस्वीर यार, जब जरा गर्दन झुका ली देख ली. In the mirror of my heart is embedded the image of my beloved. The moment I want to look at him, I just have to tilt my head like this. Very beautifully and poetically expressed by him. It may be time for you all to hear. I have not heard Baba say. Maybe he has said something about him to others, I don't know.